I just have a follow-up on that. I don't know if any of you are aware that the the fire departments have already approached both the county and Priest River City Council and Old Town City Council, I believe, to get impact fees for just the fire department because they're tapped out, and the local governments say, well, if the county will agree to it, we'll agree to it. And that was from the Priest River City Council meeting. I didn't know if you were aware of that and what your position would be on supporting the fire department's impact fees.
Question is made.
I'm sorry, Ann Wilder from Priest River.
Could you repeat the first part of that, please?
The local fire departments have already approached both the city of Priest River and the city of Old Town and the county commissioner's office to support impact fees. They've already got a plan already written up, but they need two government entities to agree, yes, we will support impact fees before they can go forward with this. And the commissioner's office is pretty important as far as being one of those two. So I didn't know how your vote would be if it was for the fire department.
Dave Bowman, District 3, I would fully support that.
Jeff Conley, District 2. Of course I support that. I've talked to the former mayor of Priest River about this. He had some concerns about how the money would be split between the different areas, and that was one of his main concerns. Myself, I'm more like, let's just get it in place and let's figure out the details. But I think they were working through the details. I have not heard recently anything, but I'm fully supportive. And just to kind of tell a little bit more of a story of what the commissioner, or what I have been doing as a commissioner. At one time, IAC, which is the Idaho Association of Counties, had proposed some legislation to do a 1% sales tax. This thing got derailed when 741 came down the line, which was to take the homeowners completely off and do all of it with sales tax. This thing was a good piece of legislation. It would do 50% to levy reduction and 50% to relieve some of the stress on the infrastructures within your county, that 1% local option tax. Like I say, it got hijacked by, well, I'll just say it, Mike Moyle, the legislator from Ada County. These things are called local option, and they take the voter approval. But this is the kind of stuff that we've been working on behind the scenes that we don't ever get credit for.
Sandy Flaherty, District 2. I am in full support of that with the fire department, our local department, as well as any department within the county. Westside Fire has done their resolution and are currently being assessed impact fees through building permits, as far as my understanding goes. I did speak with the city planner of Old Town and Priest River, Brian Quayle, who stated that they are very interested in hearing about the proposal for impact fees through the city. And so I have full, what do I say? I firmly believe that that this will happen, and that with Westside setting the precedence, that all the other fire departments can follow that as well.
Asia Williams, District 2. So it isn't enough for us to say, yes, I agree with it, and not tell you what the plan is, because if I'm commissioner and you say we need impact fees, and I've got 5 years under my belt, then I have to be able to answer to you as to what have I been doing to push that issue forward to ease the county. And that's not what's happening with our current commissioner. We ask a question, we get an opinion, but we don't get action. And so I agree with the fact that we do need impact fees, but as constituents, as voters, we have to look to those persons who aren't just going to tell you what they know you want to hear, but they're going to give you the plan of action and keep you updated. I have had many people in the community come to me over issues and concerns, and I'm not even commissioner yet, but I tell them, I'll work on that for you, and I give them feedback, and I give them updates until we get the resolution that the person is looking for. That's what we need to require, because as we say, we need impact fees from the commissioner county level. We still don't have them, and it's been a significant amount of growth over the last 2 years where we have justification for pushing that type of agenda forward, but it's not happening. And so I go back to my previous statement of we need to change for people that are going to take action, not just tell you what they want to hear.
Brian Riley, District 3. Back to my previous explanation on this, very similar question as I understand it. So yes, I would support it. I'm not familiar with this specific situation, but we do need to make sure we're growing and getting the funding from our developers to help support what we need to do.
Blue comment, growth needs to be managed responsibly. Taxation is a responsibility of county commissioners. We are responsible as Americans, as Bonner County residents, as Idahoans, to determine what type of government we want. And if we're talking about a certain number of fire districts, if the people support it, absolutely. It should be put to the vote of the people within those districts. So yes, if the people support it. But if the voters are opposed to it, I support the people.
I'm not aware of that situation or that specific fire department. I guess as a commissioner, if I wasn't aware of anything yet, it was just coming to me, I would want to ask, why do they need the money? Number one, I'd like to take a look at your books and see where the money has been spent. Is the money being spent wisely, or is it buying needless equipment? I've seen redundancy over the years. I was a volunteer fire department for Northside Fire myself for a while. I see every fire department having to buy a boat. I see every fire department having to buy all this extra equipment when I don't see any MOUs, mutual understanding between the fire departments. I'm not here to talk bad about the fire departments. I'm talking about redundancy at the taxpayer's expense. I've seen that with search and rescue. We used to have volunteers that would go out and search for people and find people and save people. We had snowmobile teams, we had horse teams, we had swiftwater rescue teams. All of that was volunteers, free to the people, free to the public. And now the county under EMS has gotten a law change with Idaho statutes, and now if someone is lost, well, not lost, but if someone needs to get rescued and they know where they're at, it's now an EMS call and it's not a volunteer search and rescue call. So now EMS is getting geared up. All of the stuff that search and rescue had for free, it's now costing the taxpayers millions of dollars to buy snowmobiles, snowmobile trailers. We have to train those EMS people to be able to go out and do those kinds of things. So I'm gonna reserve my opinion on that question because I don't know exactly what the circumstances is on that specific fire department. Thank you.
To answer the question, I think it was specifically about Old Town, Priest River, whether we should have impact fees for those areas. If those areas are experiencing significant growth at a rapid rate, then yes, I believe that the people that are benefiting from that growth should pay for the expanded need of services. So if the fire department was doing 100 calls a year, and with the new service, with the expansion of all the new houses coming in and all the new growth, those calls go to 120 or 130 or 140 calls a year, so you're seeing a 20 or 30, 40% increase, then the existing tax base can't pay for that. And the people that are moving in, their taxes are at least 1, 2, maybe 3 years behind. So you're gonna have a need to have the current tax base have their taxes increased in order to pay for those needed services. So in general, I would say yes, I would agree with that. Thank you.